Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Here we go. Welcome. It is Wednesday in the KVJ After the Show Podcast. Yeah. Just trying to see what is going on with Vicious V. No official word yet from her, but her husband had reported earlier that she had pink eye, according to Panda.
It's all been very hush-hush, Kevin. It's all been kind of...
It's been very mysterious. It's been very mysterious, as Virginia reported at 5 a.m. this morning that she had severe pain, like in her face. Kind of like thing that was going on there. And she said, something's not right with my face and eyes.
Well, I just wanted to know what the emergency room said. So, did the emergency room officially say you have pink eye?
That'd be what I'd think. I mean, from the sketchy details we have and piecing together all we know, Panda's saying that she has the pink eye. And her text, the pain that she had, and said there's pressure and swelling. She said, I look really ugly, and that's the worst part. That fact, she went to the emergency room, and he said she was asleep and that she has pink eye. Then, yes, I would think that's probably what it is. She went to the emergency room, and they said, your diagnosis is you have pink eye.
You asked her for a photo. She did not give you
No.
a response.
She probably doesn't want the nastiness posted and have that photo coming back, and that's maybe why she didn't show today. She didn't want to put a swollen mug on KVJ TV.
Well, according to the timeline, we talked to her up until 8 o'clock last night, according to our emails.
Okay.
She was answering back from the wine bit. I looked at the timestamp. I looked at the
Timestamp?
The timestamp.
Yeah, nothing last night. No, and I got this at 5 a.m. That was the first I'd heard of it. So I don't know. Do not know.
Well, I hope she feels better.
Yes, absolutely.
I just want some answers.
And so I don't know what the prognosis will be for her tomorrow and the rest of the week.
She's always butting into my shit. You know what I mean? She's always meddling around in
Oh,
my business.
yeah.
So I don't feel bad about meddling in hers.
Yes. All right. And to let you know that her Ladies' Night Out event tomorrow night has been postponed. So that we do know, but I don't know if that's in regards to the pink eye. I think that's just something that happened. So it'll be May 10th instead. Just to let you know. Well, got a good bit of feedback as we were called out yesterday in an email about doing the birthdays on the show.
Interesting.
Yes. Somebody said it's just a complete waste. I don't know why you do it. And I do know that it is a very controversial thing that we do. So we put up a Twitter poll yesterday. Is it time for us to get rid of birthdays? And it was really neck and neck earlier as I talked about it. I think it woke some people up who like the birthdays because 61% now say to keep them. 39% say to definitely get rid of them. That's how the voting has gone. Swayed more in the way of keeping them. And the emails that we received today are very one-sided as well about keeping them.
Okay, hey, look, the people have spoken.
Yeah, and that's just what we want to do. And some of the things they are reciting to us are what we talked about yesterday in our original thinking as to why we did them. Kind of going against a trend and things that big, highfalutin, high-paid radio coaches will tell you absolutely never do birthdays. Self-serving, nobody gives a shit. Don't waste your time. But Cynthia says, please don't stop doing birthdays. It's a very special day for anyone who has a birthday, and I love hearing the kids, the local people. You're a part of our families. Don't listen to national douches. It is us. Don't let your family down.
Well, I agree with not listening to national douches.
Yes, I hear you. Let me see. Lori says, keep them, birthday chant, chant, chant. Also, Noelle says, keep them, love them, laugh every time I hear happy birthday from Mommy, Daddy, and Kurt the Bunny. Those kind of things. I love that. It makes my day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you get any emails that were people were like, oh, birthdays suck. Did you get any of those?
If I did, Denny's throw them away because everything that I got, it's very one-sided right now.
Okay.
Everyone's saying yes. In fact, this is interesting because somebody said that while I think the birthday segment is a waste of time for me, it is important to all the people that you recognize. Your show has only survived because you connect to the community you serve. This is one of the ways you continue to connect. Although some don't like it, I believe it does you more good than harm. And that's it. So keep doing the birthdays even when they are 20 minutes long. So that ultimately was the question, and I realized, and I know when I did it, I'm not everybody's going to be like, oh my gosh, we got to get the birthdays. But, like I said, and in the rationale we used yesterday, it is unique. It is connecting. And that's the reason why we do it, is because with all the national shows, nobody can. So that was our reasoning for starting it and trying it out. And then the question is, do we keep it?
The nation has spoken.
They're speaking. I'll say it's still in.
Because we've had this before where one day you read all of these, keep them, then tomorrow you may have 50 emails.
That's why I'm not done. I mean, it's still open for consideration. I do appreciate all these, and I process them all. I take them all in, and I do listen. Somebody, Rich, said here that my daughter's 9th birthday was on April 16th. You read her birthday and did a chant. We watch your show on YouTube every morning before school, and she was so excited to hear her birthday. She jumped up and down, even ran into the other room to go tell her mom. It was for sure the highlight of her birthday morning. I've been listening to you guys since before my kids were born on every station you've been on. I'm a huge fan. I think the birthdays are a great little piece of your show. Seeing my daughter so excited made me an even bigger fan, assuming that's possible. Quite frankly, I'm not even sure why there's a debate on the issue. It's such a small portion of your show you can easily miss if you're not paying attention. The 60 seconds you take to announce birthdays, I think, has little to no impact on your average listener, but a huge impact on that person who is waiting and thrilled just to hear their name on the radio.
That's a great email, and he's got a great point on that, because he's right. We don't ever really go past a minute or so.
I do them as quickly as I can. It's just a small part of what makes your show great because it's unique, and it is. And like I said, it is not nationally approved or recommended for any show to ever do, but say we never listen to anybody. So there you go. Except for you when it comes to your comments. So, yeah, so it goes on and on a little bit. Got other comments here to get to as well today. Noel talking a little bit about the discussion yesterday of our time in Miami and the quote-unquote Miami debacle. I know you talk about how much KVJ Nation had your back during this dark time, but I don't know if you realize how much a crazy situation for listeners this actually was and how much it really invigorated us. I'll never forget that feeling of how involved everyone in KVJ Nation was and constantly sharing what to do, call the station, email management, unfollow on Facebook, bomb the mailbox, etc., and really feeling like we had a collective cause to embrace. And there are some hilarious KVJ Nationers out there. At one point, we were leaving tons of comments on every single post on Cox's Facebook page, whether it had anything to do with you all or not. Oh, I know. You pretty much crippled that whole building. They were awesome. So pissed. I wish you could have posted video of the frustration and the people you could hear them in offices just cursing KVJ.
Well, that was what
they hated us so much.
That was what was tough because when the people would do that, you're happy they're defending you, but we couldn't go on the air and say that. Remember, we had to be quiet about everything for legal reasons.
And we were just walking the hall we were like dead man walking because we knew we were out of there. We knew it wasn't going to last, and we had gone past the point of no return, and we're like, it's just a matter of time. But just walking the halls, and people who you knew were going to stay were looking at you like you guys are on borrowed time, and you're just causing so much heartache for everybody in this damn building.
I remember one guy was walking out of the elevator. He saw me and did a terrible job acting like he didn't see me, and went the other way. They did not want to talk to us.
That's the way we were.
Well, they knew sudden death was just about.
We turned every comment section into Save the KVJ Show, and there were some hysterically funny posts. We literally were like locusts moving from effort to effort to effort to get our message heard. And it was very exciting with one huge happy ending. So,
that is. It's cool.
It was. Good times, good times. Got this email from Engineer Key. Said, I've listened since Trump was elected to office because NPR had straight up meltdown and I couldn't stand it. I think birthdays are great. I appreciate that you guys try to stay agile and you're always trying to have a better show. Keep doing birthdays, and while we're at it, please wish my friend Lester E. a happy birthday tomorrow.
Lester E.
Okay, I'll put that over to the side for tomorrow. Tom, talking about 16-year-old voters. It was on your mind today, Jay Bird.
Yes.
Kevin's comments really struck a nerve with me when he said that 16-year-olds were more civic-minded and brought up the Parkland's shooting. It really made my blood boil. These kids don't know anything about civics. They don't know anything about the Bill of Rights. No way should they be allowed to vote. I think some are. I don't think all are. I think some kids do care. I was probably more civically minded when I was the age of 16 than I am now, because I went straight from high school into pre-law, and I was really interested in the political system, and I was very politically minded. And I thought that I was going to become an attorney and then go into politics and all that kind of good stuff. And then my very first semester in poli-sci, I realized that the political system is a bunch of crap, and I've kind of dialed out since then. But so I think it depends. But yeah, I think, as I had mentioned, even in that segment on the regular show today, I think a big part of what you'll get, and I kind of see this a good bit. It seems like a lot of those kids definitely are just a reflection of what their parents believe.
I think it's a terrible idea. I think having 16-year-olds vote is really a bad idea.
I don't think it's broken now. I would listen to the discussion. But yeah, right now, my first thought is, I don't know why we would do it.
There's way less. I just don't think it's a good idea. I just think it's bad.
Yeah.
18 seems about right.
Yeah, I think sometimes, if you have a kid that is trying to learn, that's good at that age. Training wheels are good, but I don't know you necessarily give them the keys to the car, which is going out and actually being able to cast a vote for that reason. And just I think that they're starting to learn, but their guide typically is their parents.
It really is weird on a lot of these rules. So you can fight for the country at age 18, but you're not allowed to buy a beer. It just doesn't seem like it's fucking even there at all.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't love that either.
No, if you're able to go fight for our country, damn it, you should be able to have a beer if you choose to have that.
Yeah.
And and maybe you only have that for people who've been in the military. That's a perk of being in the military, and they get to drink. I'm not saying go out and get sloshed, but have the ability to have a beer. It just seems weird to me.
I know. I agree with you.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I do like that the military ID. So yeah, the age thing, and it's a weird time, and I think because what you're trying to do is you're trying to tag an age onto maturity, and you never know when someone's going to mature, and you can have arguments and exceptions on either side, but I think unfortunately you get grouped into what the overall survey numbers say about your age.
Well, the other thing too is, and I know you have spoken up a lot for the Parkland kids, there are some people who don't like some of the stuff they've been saying and how they've handled itself. So I think sometimes when you say it's good that they're having a voice and all that, I don't know if everyone's going to go along with that.
I think that I'm not saying that when it comes to the Parkland kids, that I even would say that I agree with what their agenda is. I have only just said that I agree with they should have a platform to voice their opinion. And that even includes, there's a kid that's very visible right now who's on the opposite side of it. One of the top trending stories today is a kid that went to a gun range and was shooting off an AR-15 and posted up some photos, and kids at the school at Stoneman Douglas were disturbed that he was doing that. And, there were some repercussions, and the school got involved, and he said, you have no right to pry into my life when I am out legally shooting this gun that I'm allowed to shoot and to have and to say something about it.
I mean, it's become extremely political.
It's all gun stuff, yeah. So that's why I'll just tell you, and I think that kid has a right to voice his opinion, as do the other students, and so that's it. These students, I think, have a right to voice their opinion, and I think that you should be able to be involved in civil discussions no matter what age you're at.
But that's the part people are debating is, has it been civil?
Has what been civil?
The discussions.
The discussions have gotten out of hand because I think it's the way that people listen, because people don't want to listen. They just want to fight immediately. It's like, listen to what they have to say. Be, okay, cool. I got it. Thanks.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's denying them that they have the right to speak out.
Some people have.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and that's where I've just said that let them speak. Let them do the walk and everything else that's out there. I think it's important that, I think every American should feel like no matter what your age is or what your situation is, that you are able to speak up and say something. So that's the extent of what my thing is. Not saying I agree with them.
Sure.
On either side.
Well, it's just one of those things. As soon as you bring it up, even just by bringing it up, people are already.
Yeah.
whatever their stance is, and that's why it's become very political, very agenda driven.
Yeah, and I've shied away from too many topics. I'm starting to get over that too.
Where is that?
Not talking about something because it's going to upset people.
Oh, I hear you on that. I totally think you should talk about something, even with the risk of upsetting people. I mean, that really is what you're supposed to do in life, in my opinion.
I'm getting to the point where for so long I've dodged topics simply for the reason I'm like, that's going to make people angry. And I don't believe in that anymore. I'm starting to really kind of drive out of that to say, look, because you're letting this, a lot of times, a vocal minority, and people are just and they've got a big platform because now they've got social media, and people get in there and they try to make you feel bad, but no one should ever feel bad for trying to have an open, honest discussion and try to learn more.
It's when people come after your jobs is why people get scared. If you have an opinion on something, and sometimes people don't agree with your opinion,
it's silly. No one should ever lose their job for their opinion.
I agree with you.
You should be able to state how you feel.
You should, whether it's popular or not.
Right. What's wrong with that?
Barring inciting violence, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hate speech, in my opinion, get the fuck out of here.
I'm not going to sit here and list all the little obvious ones that are there. But
you know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. Just to be able to have an opinion, even if people don't like it, you should be able to express it.
If it's a controversial issue and you have an opinion on that, and it may not be the popular opinion in that room or for that audience, it takes balls to say what you believe, even if you know you're going to get fucking murdered in that room.
We're now unfortunately staying away from a lot of really important discussions that need to happen because problems aren't fixing themselves by ignoring them. And we need to start having them so that people can understand and listen to. Hopefully people for a little bit will listen to both sides and say, okay, I got a little bit of a better understanding as to why I should or should not do that thing.
And I'm not even almost saying even on a political sense, even just in general, hearing a side of a story about anything. It seems like if there's a difference of opinion on something, Twitter claps back, and then you're in hot water.
There are a lot of things that, to me, I want to discuss because I want to hear, because it helps me learn. When I hear opinions on things, and there's a lot, and I think they're fascinating discussions. If you can get people in a room that can sit down and really discuss things, it would be so nice. And, I've talked about this. I've threatened to do this, but I've got too many damn podcasts going on. But, to sit down and have civil discussions about horribly controversial topics, because for me personally, I would like to learn about it. There's a topic that, I don't know, depending on time or whatever, I may or may not get into on the sports show today. But there's this song. Have you heard the Lil Dicky song?
Yes.
You talked about that? And it's kind of like revived in the news, and there's, some white kids that have gotten in trouble for singing this song with Chris Brown in there. There's an N-word in it, and, it's thrown around a lot. So there have been videos, and, white girls are dancing around singing the N-word like it's no big deal. And then, they're getting a big clapback, and, they're winding up in problems because of it. And one of the girls now has kind of like fired back, and she's got her whole take on like, okay, why is it that it's in a song and I'm singing as a song, and why can't I use it, and why do we have these words that, that's only just driving us further apart. And to me, I think it's a great discussion to have. It's interesting to hear what people have to say on both sides of it.
For sure.
And to me, I would learn more about it, to be like going, okay, all right, I've just got another perspective of someone else because of this discussion. But no, a lot of times we can't have that discussion because nobody can actually have it without getting all freaking, butt hurt.
For sure. No, there's even, you're right. There's topics that we sometimes shy away from. It's when I don't have a full grasp on a subject that's controversial, is when sometimes I'll misspeak, or I'll even just asking questions, I'll ask them in a way that may be off, and I misspeak a lot too.
Shouldn't be a problem.
So that's why when someone misspeaks sometimes, and then the world comes down on them. I know I have said things just because I do misspeak sometimes that they could be interpreted one way when they don't even come close to meaning what they might be. And I just think sometimes you have to have a little bit of compassion on somebody that may misspeak every now and then.
Don't scold. People don't like to be scolded. And if someone is trying to learn honestly and objectively about, hey, I want to find out about your opinion, and I ask a question that is ignorant because I don't fully understand the situation, I'm asking questions because of it, doesn't mean that you need to attack me. Just say, let me help you understand. And here's my side of that. And that's why we're so afraid to ask questions, because we're ignorant to situations because we can't ask questions because we yelled at when we ask an ignorant question.
But what happens?
How do you ever learn?
But what happens? You get to a place, because we're talking when you get people in a situation where they're charged up about something, they're usually a bit upset. There's emotions bubbling over.
And that's understandable.
And that's understandable. But when you get to a point, it would be nice to see this with people, even when they have that talk and they still don't change their opinion. It'd be nice to say, all right, we just don't agree, and let's go have a sandwich.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you're talking about things that are, matters of the heart that are deep, and some people just can't accept that one opinion's different than theirs. They're like, fuck this, man. You don't think the way I think, I'm out. And I don't know if we're ever going to get to a place where we're able to have a difference of an opinion and be like, all right, man, let's go have a sandwich.
It's got to start with people need to realize that the world is better when there are people that have different opinions than you do, because it provides balance. And that's what this world needs. We need to have balance. We need right, we need left. You need yin, you need yang. You need to have balance, and that's it. And that's why you should be thankful that not everybody thinks the exact same way you do.
Well, that's why I love learning and talking about religion. I'm so fascinated.
So fascinated.
On what people believe when they believe when they die. Because my opinion is nobody knows. That's why I love talking about it, because you can have your religion. I find that fascinating, but your religion is going to be different than this person's religion, and it's going to be vastly different. I know that there's some chords with a lot of religions that are the same, but we talk on the Weird Whenever podcast. You can be in the same religion and have people fighting and that don't agree.
Oh my goodness!
It's crazy to me.
Ever.
But I do love hearing about it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I've seen so many. I've been a Christian my entire life, and I've seen so many churches break up and they split, and that's why you have so many denominations, is because they can't agree on the fundamental laws and how they need to behave and stuff that really, in the grand scheme of things, if they would bring Jesus into the room, which is the guy they're trying to honor in the first place, he'd be like going, it's not that big a deal. And he'd probably walk out, and that'd be it. That'd probably be the end of the discussion. And they'd be going, but they will fight tooth and nail and split up and do all these awful things to one another, all in the name of that.
Well, I really do. I try to listen to people's beliefs without judgment when it comes to, especially religion. Because I mean,
sure.
A lot of times, for example, if you're born in a house and your parents are telling you this is what you have to believe in for 18 years of your life, you think that's the only way. Then you go out into the world and ask other questions and realize, okay, well, there's other people that believe other things. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I believe at some point you need to go out and investigate your religious beliefs on your own, no matter what they might be.
And I think it's good to ask questions, too, and not feel bad for
absolutely.
questioning religion.
That's why we need to start establishing in our culture an open forum for discussion. I mean, the Greeks would sit down all the time and they would just talk philosophy and these type of things, and hopefully would have somewhat civil discussions, but they had forums for that. And we need to have that in our society where we can sit down and talk about these things and say, help me understand, or let me express myself, and hopefully somebody will listen and help me through this.
It's funny too. Some fucker's going to write an email about just this discussion alone, and they're going to be offended.
Yeah, probably. But like I said, that's the kind of stuff I don't worry about anymore.
That's proving the point.
Yeah, because I know my tone. I know where I'm coming at this from, and I'm coming at this from I want to love everybody. I want to understand everybody, and that's the position I'm coming from. There's no hate in it at all or any kind of side agendas. And so I'm not going to live a fearful life where I can't talk about things or can't ask questions because I'm afraid of what people are going to think about me.
Well, I just think the one thing we all have in common is we are on this floating ball out in the middle of space, and there's not too many instructions when you're born. I know that there are, with your parents and all, but this is a weird ride we are on, and we are all experiencing this thing together.
We all breathe, shit, and die, baby.
Yeah, I mean, that weirdness alone should bring us together. Just being a human is so fucking weird.
We should really, honestly be ganging up together and being on the same page.
I don't understand how people don't think life is bizarre. And I swear, I am not stoned.
I think because a lot of people just don't think, to be honest with you.
I just think this is a weird ride, man.
Yeah, I don't think that a lot of people really take a moment to sit and think about other things. We get so plugged in, man, and you're just going through the motions.
We know as a human species we struggle mentally. That's the way we're built. So you would think all in the same gang, right?
You'd think.
You'd think that.
You'd hope. It'd be nice to have a place where we could have those discussions. So who knows? Maybe we'll start doing that kind of stuff. Don't know where we'll find the time, but maybe a place and a time. We'll just start bringing up all these controversial topics in a good form where everyone's represented to say, I'd love to hear your... It'd be great to hear you talk about this.
A religious person, atheist, somebody that's got...
Tell me why you think this way.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what you got, and maybe bring in a little bit of research in your studies and say why you feel that way. I always say that, and I did the Godcast for the reason of being that if you're going to have a belief, you should be able to attack that belief. So if someone ever comes after you about it, you can fully, one side and the other, express, this is why I believe this way. And sometimes you can say, look, I don't have all the answers. But that's part of what belief is all about.
I think that right there shows wisdom of somebody that can admit, look, I don't know the fucking answer. I don't know. That takes balls to do. Everyone wants to have the answer.
Mm-hmm. But I think you should at least try to have a good reason for why you believe the way you believe.
For sure. And I completely agree with you about being not wanting to talk about things because you're afraid it's going to ruffle feathers. You have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to.
I agree. I fully agree. And so, the right place, time, right forum, will be probably doing a lot more of that here in the future because I think it ultimately helps. It's maybe tough to get through initially,
which we do,
but we need it.
We'll talk about some of the harder stuff on the Weird and Whatever. We will. Because you have Ryan Beckett who comes in with a completely different perspective on things,
Mm-hmm.
and then Vicky who's really into the spiritual world.
Mm-hmm.
We'll delve into some things that can be a little controversial. I'll get emails saying, "Why are you really going for some controversy?"
Okay, I love it, man. Yeah, you let me know when you get into that. I have to pop in there and see what's
anytime
up.
you are welcome to the Weird and Whatever podcast. Anytime, Kevin.
And you're always welcome on my sports show.
I would love to.
Mm-hmm. Anytime. Rachel said here, just an idea, Vicious V, about Rocco stealing your keys. Go get a few blank keys from the hardware store and a few keychains and give it to Rocco so he has his own set of keys that don't do anything. It's pretty smart. You always see that plastic keys that you can give to kids. And kids are in it. Yeah, I know Cannon had his own little phase where he was really into that. Kentucky John sent in an email. Says, Kevin, please don't speak in hillbilly voice. Okay.
Why? You have a great hillbilly voice.
He doesn't like when I ascribe the hillbilly voice to him. So I will say, would you like to know whose Bentley Rocco is in the front seat of the picture of him losing Virginia's keys? Because a Bentley has to be above the show's pay grade. Kentucky John.
Oh, that's Kentucky John. Mm-hmm. We haven't heard from
his
him.
His new voice, I know. Because I don't think he likes when I use the Kentucky voice on him.
Kentucky John, honestly, was involved in one of the best things I've ever seen with our show. He fucking catfish suits.
Gosh, I'm so sorry I missed that.
You really did. We gotta find that.
Gosh, I'm so sorry I missed that.
Well, he not only did he catfish suits, he catfished me,
that's unbelievable.
Virginia, and Denny's answered the phone. We're doing a dating game for suits at the time. We had 3 women on the phone. And Kentucky John was one of them.
That's
tricked us
pretty
all,
awesome.
and he won the fucking contest.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. I don't know anything about the Bentley. I don't. Virginia does not have a Bentley. I can promise you that. And I don't know whose it might have been. She might have been at a dealership somewhere, possibly, or. If maybe she's got a friend that is that fancy. I don't know if she has. I don't get to meet those fancy friends that Virginia has. She's kind of got a friend list that sometimes is above. I don't know. I know they work at Café Bleu and Café Fonfon.
I don't think I have any fancy friends. I really don't. I don't think I have. I mean, maybe Ryan Beckett. He's about the fanciest of my friends.
He's in the fancy crew. He's the Wellington like.
Yeah.
I've got a few that slightly, but you wouldn't know it kind of guys.
I got a couple guys that eat sushi. That's about as close as I get.
Yeah. I'm more like that. Yeah. I just when you get into high-end type things, I can hang with people that have money but don't act like it.
Yeah.
But when they do, then I'm very uncomfortable, and I don't do well in those situations.
And I'm just one of the, I'm not impressed by big fancy things. It's never been my thing.
No.
I'm more of a, I like it. I like rustic. I like old shit. I like dives.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're in a different world than those rich people.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Not my comfort zone.
We're talking about beluga.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to a jet and high-end car party. It was at Tilted Kilt there in Boca. It was right at the thing, and Whole time I was just like, gosh, I want to go Tilted Kill.
Yeah.
Just want a beer. Just want to watch some sports.
I remember in high school I dated a really rich girl, and it was so uncomfortable talking to her parents, man.
It's tough. Yeah, some are tough. Like I said, I've seen both, and we associate with all types. But yeah, there are the ones that, and it's hard for me. We don't connect. I can't relate.
Her dad was a doctor, and I called him Mister one day, and my dad is a doctor. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And her mom, when she would talk to me, she would talk to me just like this.
Right.
And she'd go, so Jason, do you want to play baseball professionally? It just was so fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
I could not wait to get out of that house. I always felt like I was going to break something, which I'm sure I did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Well, I mean, they've got other. I mean, it's just
they have to worry about the money. Their money they're laying on.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Yeah, they got multiple houses and they're
multiple.
No, they do. It's crazy, and you're just like, I
was thinking about getting a third house in the farms of Omaha.
I got one. It's shitty.
Yeah, I can barely hang on to rent in my fucking townhouse. You got rats in the wall.
Yeah.
People dropping crack pipes by my patio.
I get it, man. Jenny said, hey, I'm very late in sending this email, but I just heard the podcast from earlier this month where y'all were talking about pizza. I highly recommend watching on Netflix Ugly Delicious. It's with a Michelin star chef. The first episode's all about pizza, and he discusses New York versus Italy, and even involves Domino's. It's really well done, very casual, down to earth, but educational. I normally don't like documentaries, but this was very cool.
I've been getting into documentaries. I've always loved them, but I've been really on a documentary run.
Oh, yeah. I do enjoy it. I like when they're well done and you can learn something on top of it. Yeah, I love them.
There's so many, I hate to say it, but there's a lot of murder documentaries that I get sucked into those things. You ever see that 48 Hours where the cops, there's a murder? It's real stuff. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
They have 48 hours to solve the crime. Oh, it is.
Oh, really?
It's
wow.
fascinating.
Oh, okay.
Well, I shouldn't say they have 48 hours to solve it, but they document the 48 hours.
48 hours of the process, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Let's see here. Got this email from Shire. She said, I was catching up on the podcast. I heard Jaybird talking about lambskin condoms and how they are uncomfortable. The important thing to know is that lambskin condoms do not prevent STIs or STDs.
Yeah, well, that's why I was saying don't get the thin ones.
There you go.
Yeah, it wasn't because of the feeling. It was just because they're thin.
Mm-hmm. So if you're trying for safe sex, don't use them ever.
If you're trying to have regular sex, don't use them ever.
Shire from Loxahatchee Groves, not a redneck.
Ah.
Yeah, no, that whole area is changing, man. It's booming. There's talking about building, I think they call it Westlake. They're going to be doing a complex. If you go all the way west on North Lake till it pretty much hits Seminole Pratt. I think they're talking about putting basically another city place out there, and that's going to be where the new boom is going to be.
That would be cool. Yeah, you can tell that place is going to even get bigger than what it is. Because I remember being a kid back in the day.
Yeah.
There wasn't jack shit out there.
Yeah, and my buddy moved out there to kind of get away and just kind of like be out there. And he's like going, and there's like a boom going on out here. And like, so a lot of people moved out here to kind of like be a little bit in the country. Like all of a sudden we're finding ourselves, we're not going to be in the country much longer.
That's what someone from the Pizzle was telling me. They were saying back in the day, the Pizzle was just really quiet and peaceful, and now it's beginning to just grow and grow.
I could see it. That whole west Port St. Lucie right there by 95, they're putting up some exciting stuff there.
Because there's some parts up north that are still pretty barren that could do a takeover.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, the Pizzles, I was impressed when I went to the Pizzle a couple weeks ago. It is booming.
I love the Pizzle.
Oh, it's
great. I really
great.
do.
Yeah.
If I would live in the Pizzle if the station was close to it.
Yeah,
they're my kind of people.
Yep, it's a good town. Jess from Allentown had a question. Said, do you believe that in a relationship you should be a complete open book with your spouse? My wife and I are having a disagreement over this. I feel she should be open completely like I am, and she feels she shouldn't be. I think you should try to be comfortable and be respectful. I think that's the two things. There are some things that, should be disclosed, and there are some things that you're probably better off not discussing because it causes unnecessary fights, like exes and people you've been with and specifics in that category.
I do not think you should disclose everything that goes on in your head just because you're in a relationship. When it comes to matters of the heart and things that involve you too. And that's the kind of stuff you need to be open and honest about, but not every little thing that comes into your mind needs to be said to the world.
It's an ongoing debate. I mean, we always have this topic, okay, if somebody's got a felony on the record, do you need to tell somebody? And if so, when? If you've got kids that, maybe you don't even have custody of, do you need to say, hey, I've got a kid, I just don't have custody, and the kid lives in Michigan? How often, when do you need to? And those are things that, I would say that as time goes on, a relationship progresses, but definitely when you're married, a lot of those things, should be disclosed, but...
Yeah, but I mean, those are the things that's different. And I don't know if she's even asking that. I think she's even talking about just even internal thoughts
like
you're
complete,
having.
yes.
Yeah,
complete disclosure.
Your lasagna sucks balls. I'm going to tell you about that, how terrible it is.
Yeah.
Or you look fat. Or, I mean, you got to have a little bit. And the other thing, too, is I think you should... If you have to give up everything for your marriage, like every thought and every emotion and everything's open, and I don't know if everyone wants to fly that way.
I hear
That's
you.
a lot. That's a lot. You should still be able to keep something of your own.
Yeah, I think there are things that you need to know and things that you shouldn't, and you need to respect each other's boundaries. Big part of a relationship is just understanding where somebody puts up their boundaries and then respecting them. So there you go. That'd be my take on that.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell do we know, though?
Yeah, but it's case by case. If you have specifics, then we can discuss those. But just in general, I don't think everything.
Even if, and I mean this more of a figurative speech, but even in a marriage, don't you kind of have to have a room of your own, so to speak, where you have to have a little bit of time just to kind of clear your head?
I think it's good.
Well, I think it's healthy, right?
I do, yeah.
I think that's going to make your marriage better. I think you'll be a better person. Sometimes you got to collect yourself.
Well, you have something when you, get back with that person, you got something to talk about. You
Yeah.
know, my wife and I, we talk on the phone every day. I don't feel like I didn't see her at all yesterday, but, and then on the weekends, we're like going, okay, so tell me about your week.
I got a friend. He has no kids.
Yeah.
He's married.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it is. Hey, you want to go grab a drink at the gas station? I got to ask my wife. Yeah, you want to go play some wiffle ball? I got to ask my wife. I got to make sure it's okay. And then there'll be times where there's nothing going on. They're not even hanging out. And she says he can't do stuff. And he wants to come and do something.
Yeah.
And it's almost kind of just because she says no.
Yeah.
That's fucked up in my opinion.
It is. I think it's overbearing, and you're going to get resentment.
Totally. He's half of a man now.
Yeah.
He's not the same guy I know.
No. That ain't cool.
It's not cool.
Well, I mean,
guy or girl should not do that.
Yeah.
Guy, girl, guy, girl, whatever.
When you got no plans, and especially if you're not even together, and she's off doing her own thing, and he's just whatever, he's like, hey, I'd like to go do this for a while, and she's like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
The one thing, one of her friends was over, and he wasn't allowed to go out and play wiffle ball. It's like, fuck this,
Oh,
man.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does suck. No,
I don't get that.
I don't get that either, and that's wrong, and that's why you wind up having people going their own way.
He's not a bad dude either. He's not stepping out.
Exactly. She probably brought some baggage into that relationship.
Oh, you think?
That happens. I hear you, brother. All right, well, we'll see what happens with Vicious V tomorrow. If we get her back, will she have a puffy face?
I think she's ghosting us.
Completely, yeah. Maybe she's getting some much-needed rest. I don't know. It's a mystery that hopefully we'll be able to unfurl tomorrow on the next edition of the KVJ Show. Thank you for the emails. We've got apparently our email situation completely fixed now. mail@kvjshow.com. So send them to us. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.